What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Carlotta Chatwood Show. I am Carlotta. Listen, okay, so I decided I'm gonna have to do a show for y'all before the holidays, just because it's getting down to, hopefully I might be able to do another one, but y'all, Lord, I got so much stuff going on. So hopefully I'll be able to give y'all maybe I should be. Who knows? Another show. If not, I'll see. Hopefully, I'll give you guys one for the New Year's. Let me see. Hold on, guys. So I got this. I'm trying to get this right here. Yes, no, I still don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what y'all be seeing. Hold on here. All right, you guys. Welcome to the Carlotta Chatwood Show. Okay, so I'm just here to do. This is going to be a little short show today. Kind of get some commentary and things like that out the way. You guys. So yeah, it's been a great week, man. Let me tell y'all. Wonderful week. I found out I aced all my classes. Oh my goodness, my first time having all A's in my master's program. Okay. Wow, I'm last time I got a B, I think, or something like that. But I am I listen, I'm excited. It feels so good because I worked really hard this semester. I really put extra effort into stuff. I really worked hard. So I listen, y'all. I'll be bragging. I'm happy. I am happy, okay? And so yeah, it's been really, really good. Y'all pray for me because I'm going heading on to my semester before my last one. So it's just, next semester. So God pray for me. Pray for, when you get to these parts of the thing, trying to finish up your journey and stuff try to come after you. Pray that the ride is uh that it be the journey be smooth. Okay, that's what my prayer is. Okay. So it's a lot been happening out there in the news, man. You know what, so I will get to that in a minute, but yeah, I had my aunt wrote me about cruising, and because she's been on cruises before, and so she told me about a little some of the tips I should uh look forward to in cruising. I've been getting a lot of, and some of y'all have been writing me telling me stuff about cruising. I'm a little nervous, but I'm excited. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait. I mean, it's gonna come fast after January, I guess. I think once the January hits, it's gonna be really fast. But yeah, just a little nervous, but I'm excited about my first cruise and hanging out with some of the young ladies, some of the my Maxwell friends. So it'd be fun. It'll be exciting. And plus, the lineup is so good for Maxwell's Urban Hang Suite Cruise. It is really he really has a good lineup this year. And the Chiefs, it just everything aligned. The stars aligned. Even though I don't want Patrick to get hurt. Oh, it was so sad to see that. But everything aligned because there's no parade. So it's perfect. So yeah, so it's and the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl. So but yeah, I let me just talk to y'all about. I was thinking about that Patrick Mahomes thing this week, and somebody was talking about. I saw a sports commentator guy who really tried to get on Kansas City. He was saying, Kansas City. He was talking about. Let me see if I can find him, y'all, show y'all what this guy was saying. And let me see here. If I can find what this young man was saying. Okay. We talk about. Mm-hmm. Okay, I just found something I wanted to. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting there. Y'all like, Carlotta, what are you doing? All right, you guys. Okay. Let me see if I can find it in my. Sometimes I save things, and so trying to see if I saved it for you guys. Um, can I find it? Okay. I don't think I ever. I don't think I have. I thought I had it for you guys to see. I hate when I leave blank space, y'all. Be patient with me. I'm trying to get this. Trying to get this. I thought I had it up, but okay, I don't. Um, let's look one more place. Yeah. Okay. So, I thought I had it up, but I don't, you guys. Okay, so we'll just talk about it. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes this week. I saw something on, I think it was Twitter, something. Let me see if I can. Maybe I can look on X and it'll come up. Hold on here. And a man was talking about how Patrick Mahomes went to Dallas because he's from Texas. He's from Patrick Mahomes is from Texas. He's a little outside of Dallas, I think Tyler, Texas, or something like that. So Patrick Mahomes traveled from Kansas City to Texas to get his ACL, which a lot because this a lot of people do this with this particular surgeon. He's very popular down here. Even one of my friends went and got their surgery done from there. He's just a popular guy. He's popular with all the athletes from around the league. So it's just not Patrick doing that. He's the best in his field. So of course Patrick Mahomes wanting the best second opinion and wanting to get back probably right back out there. And then I'm told that some people say that allegedly the Chiefs people send people out all the time because some certain doctors do certain things, but this is all around the league. This isn't just one place. But this guy did this whole commentary about if you get sick in Kansas City, and Patrick didn't trust the team enough to even to get his to get to make sure. I mean, to do his operation, he went back to Dallas or whatever and stuff like that. So here's what I let me see if I can find it. Um, yeah, but what I want to say is, okay, let me tell you something about Kansas City. Kansas City is a very it's a medium sized city, kind of, but it's very country down home. Um, uh, it can be at times. Growing up, I will talk about it. It could be mediocre. I will say that. Let me tell you something, okay? Very mediocre in terms, especially if you're a black person in Kansas City. If you lived in the Midwest, and this is what I knew about because my family would go different places and stuff. Like my grandparents would travel because they would sing and stuff like that. So sometimes I got to travel and stuff. And so one of the things I noticed too, growing up in the Midwest, that even though we had a lot in my personal opinion, other than the South, a lot more racial dynamics, the Midwest is a little bit more black people from what I used to see back when growing up in my time, just from what I was exposed to, black people lived a little better to me. I remember people from my families coming from California and the South and stuff, and looking at our house like we was living in a mansion or something. But the Midwest is still very a racial dynamic. It still is a very can be segregated at times. You could tell even in my neighborhoods now. They're gentrifying up the neighborhoods that I've lived in as a child. But when I was a kid coming up, the neighborhoods were uh, they were mixed, but they were moving out of that energy by the time the crack era came. So I explained to you a little bit about Kansas City. Kansas City can be very it can give you an energy of mediocrity. uh, I will say this: I love the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl because that changed the energy of the city. It really did. And for so many times that they won the Super Bowl, and I hope they get to a chance to win it some more. Um, it's just it's just a wonderful like feel. It has changed the city. It's changed the energy of the city a little bit, changed the ideas and stuff like that. So this man who said all this bad stuff about Kansas City, partly I'm going to say you're somewhat right. It's not a metroplex like Dallas. It's not that. Kansas City is not that. But Kansas City is definitely a down home place. You find the nicest people. The Some of it can be racist. Don't get me wrong. But it is one of the most uh, if you want to do Christmas, Kansas City is a great place for holidays. It is they still have that Christmassy feel. They try to be, the Midwest is very, it's different. So yeah, it's like a Christmas. It still tries to hold on to that Christmas town feel and stuff like that. But the guy was kind of attacking Kansas City. And listen, why I understand the Hunts are really from Texas. Okay. So he was really attacking the Hunts. The Hunts are not from Kansas City. The Hunts brought that. If you know the history of the Kansas City Chiefs used to be here in Dallas, Texas. They were the second team with the Cowboys. They were called the Texans. Okay, and the father, Lamar Hunt, moved them to Kansas City in the '60s, right? And won their first Super Bowl, I think in 1969 or something like that, and hadn't won a Super Bowl till Patrick Mahomes showed up. I think we went to the championship game, and that's the Super Bowl I went to because we thought we were going to the Super Bowl. It was at like 94, 95 when Derek Thomas and all those people were on the team and stuff like that. And we went to the AFC Championship. We had Joe Montana, stuff like back when Joe Montana left San Francisco and came to when he had retired. And I mean, he was getting ready to retire, and he came to Kansas City after he left San Francisco. And really, it was a good run with Joe Montana. Joe Montana had been the most successful, in my opinion, quarterback for the Chiefs, and then Patrick Mahomes. Other people were good, but they weren't, and never rose to the occasion. The closest we came to a Super Bowl was, and we played the Bills, funny enough. We lost to the Bills in the AFC Championship that year. And I remember going to see the Bills versus the Dallas Cowboys, right? And the Dallas Cowboys won. So that was the year I went. That was my first Super Bowl. Me and my one of my best friends went. And we had a blast, and it was so funny because everybody was offering us money for our tickets and stuff like that. It was crazy, okay? But so Kansas City waited a long time. It never had a Super Bowl. And so for it to have 3 Super Bowl, to be in the AFC Championship, because the Kansas City loves the Chiefs. Okay. So especially during the year, Marty Schottenheimer years and the Carl Peterson years really brought a resurgence of football back into Kansas City, but they just never could get over the hump of winning the Super Bowl. And to look up and get Patrick Mahomes was just wow. And so what I will say this about the Hunts, I will say that the Hunts have had the lowest facility, I think, ratings and I've complained about the Hunts on here before. The Hunts have had the lowest facility ratings and stuff like that from the players in football. I think the last couple of years. I think the Hunts should be ashamed of themselves because they promote Christianity all the time. Even have a church, which I thought was really neat. They have a church that people can go to before the game so they won't miss church, right? But I will say this about the Hunts. I feel like they have to be more invested in the city. I don't see them invest as much in the city. I don't know. Maybe it's a secret. I don't know what, when I don't hear about, I used to hear about Kaufman, who used to own the Royals. He was very invested in the city. But I don't hear that much about the Hunts. I do hear about Patrick. Patrick has done so much since he's been there. I think him and his wife have invested in like a sports team. He's opened up tons of restaurants. He's like tried to make it like a mini Texas. He's got like all the Whataburgers and stuff like that. But I have always said, because of the energy of the city, you have to navigate how you win. Like I always thought it was a mistake when I that Patrick signed 10 years, even though now I can see it ended up being good for him. But you have to a team like the Chiefs, because in that town, uh, winning is so it's such a it's they they're okay for Patrick. They're okay. They almost kind of you can kind of almost, because they've had 3 Super Bowls in a row, and you should be grateful and everything like that. But Kansas City will almost acquiesce to it, like and be like, oh well, that's okay. We've had 3 Super Bowls. We're going back to the same. But if you're a person who is a winner and who is on a trajectory to win and stuff like that, you have to contend with a spirit of mediocrity. I will say that there. Oh my God, I love my hometown, but it's true. Okay, there is that energy in the city, because it's a very comfortable place to live. Okay, and so there is that. Even though there are things in the city that are not now, to me, if you're Black in Kansas City, that's a very different story. Your experience can be very different, but it still is very comforting, right? But it's a lot of other things that come with that. But that's a whole nother show. But I was just talking about what this man said about the city and Kansas City and everything. I go there often. I am from. I'm, and sometimes I stay. I stay for like a week or 2 weeks and stuff like that. So I get the idea of, because my grandparents are there. So um, um, so what I'm saying all this before, because I'm going to use this as it's a word today. Patrick Mahomes got hurt in a city, well, I won't say the city. I will say, because the city has been learning about winning. What I think Patrick Mahomes did for Kansas City is tremendously valuable. He brought an energy there of, don't go for the gusto. Don't give in, right? Because he came there and contended. Because listen, it's even in the sports teams. The sports teams, if they win a little bit, then they'll wait for like 20 years. But Patrick Mahomes was like, oh hell no, I'm a winner, baby. So I feel like that he's shifted energy that has been so mediocre. But and here's the funny thing, the early years of Kansas City were not like that. It was very artsy, jazzy, but it had a lot of history of mafia violence, and rumors were the city forefathers didn't want the mafia and stuff coming back there, so they changed a lot of the city. That's a whole nother story. But to why the city you have a spirit of mediocrity and comfort to contend with. Okay, so when you're coming there and you're a winner and everything like that, you have to. And this is for y'all in life to understand. I mean, I gathered something from this, watching this young man. I remember the last year he won that 3rd Super Bowl. I remember looking at them all in the locker room, and they were celebrating. And to me, I looked at Clark Hunt, which is the son who's now taking over because since Lamar Hunt passed away. Clark Hunt's face he looked totally shocked. He looked like he like, how did I get here? Because you have a kid that just will not take no for an answer. Powerful. The powerfulness of Patrick Mahomes has been something. And to me, when you have that kind of energy that God grants you with, like Jordan and stuff like that, those are special. I was listening to something of Jordan when he was talking the other day, and how he didn't expect. He said, I never expected to be where I was, but I just put the work behind it. When you put the work behind something powerful, you can break curses, break generational curses, break the spirit of comfort, the spirit of mediocrity that will try to contend with you and help you and stop you from being the best. Okay, it will stop, and that's not in competition, but being the best version of yourself. Okay, so what I love about Patrick Mahomes is he brought that energy to the city. He brought that energy of, I will not take no for an answer, even while everything around him was in the middle of that, if you guys watched his story, he was not having an easy time with his family. Everybody in his family was acting a fool, okay, allegedly. You can see there was articles. It was not smooth ride in the first few years for Patrick Mahomes. Okay, it probably just moved out for him from a family standpoint less than a couple of years ago. Okay, but this kid rose above all that crap that was going on and just still said, "I'm going to take this. I'm going to win the Super Bowl. I don't care what y'all think. I'm here to do something that is unprecedented. I'm here to," and you knew it when he first came in. Okay. Now the problem is people like the Hunts are used to mediocrity, in my personal opinion. Okay. Or they're used to getting away with mediocrity because of the city. Kansas City is a city you can get away with that in. It's a big city, but it has a small town feel. And you can get away with basically giving them so much and then pulling back, giving them so much. You can get away with breadcrumb in the city. And so now that the city has won so much, it's so grateful that it won't challenge the Hunts to do better. Because I know that kind of energy. Okay. So it won't challenge. So the Hunts, the real thing is you should be embarrassed to have a facility that's less than, and that's nothing about what this guy is saying. It was just funny to me. You've won you've won four. How many Super Bowls? You've been to 5 Super Bowls with Patrick. You've been in the AFC Championship for the last 11 years. You've won 3 of those Super Bowls with Patrick, 4 altogether. There is no way in hell your facility should be a bum like. And there's no way in hell that Patrick Mahomes should have had to carry his team the last few years to the Super Bowl. There's no reason why. There's no reason why. Okay. There's no reason why except for that spirit of mediocrity is on. They're able to get away with certain things. So why am I telling y'all? Y'all saying, Carlotta, what does this have to do with It's a Word today? What I'm telling you guys is when you're contending, figure out the spirits that you're contending with when you're going for greatness in your life. Understand the spirits that you are dealing with. Because there are spirits. One of the things I love about the Bible says there are principalities and rulers over certain certain regions and certain places. Like you can walk into certain cities and feel something. If I don't know if everybody can't feel it. I'm an empath, so I feel things when I walk into a city. You can feel the energy of a place. You can feel what's going on in a place, or you can feel if it's like, you can sometimes feel if you walk into a city that's violent. You can walk into a city that's this and that. Even my hometown has that little energy of violence because of a lot of the racial undertones and stuff like that. And so a lot of the inner city deals with, even though its poverty looks better than other cities, it's still poverty. And when it's there, it is a rough feel, right? And it can really work in the energy of the city. Okay. So what I'm telling you is understanding what the spirit, I don't know if Patrick Mahomes understood. And that to me is one of the reasons that he got that ACL. He got 2 ACL tours and stuff like that. And part of that was that Patrick has worked almost 3 years with no line. 2 years maybe. That hasn't been the best line. He's carried that team. He's drugged. This is how good of a player he is. That's why I can't deal with nobody comparing him to other people. They just yapping on television so they get ratings. You cannot compare that guy. That guy took a whole team that has been mediocre to the Super Bowl 5 times. He's been 5 times in the last 6 years. Lost twice. Crazy work. Crazy. Okay. That is powerful. And so what got him hurt was still trying to carry them and not getting the help he needed. And I talked about this on the last show. I gave y'all It's a Word surrounding Patrick Mahomes about how to look at people. Remember, I gave y'all that scripture in the Bible when I said that people were laughing for Gideon. When Gideon was going to war, there was a certain group of soldiers who lapped with their hands so they could look up around them and see what was going on and make sure that nobody was coming. And he literally knocked a 32,000 man army down to 300 to go up against 150,000, because he didn't need people who were scared. He didn't need people who were careless. Okay, because it was a serious fight. So why I'm telling you guys all this is because you have to do the same thing when you're going to war in your life about certain things. Man, I am really realizing this now. I think I knew it head-wise in my 20s and 30s, but I think I haven't known it as much in the last 10 to 15 years. Something about going over 40 just changed my idea. Something about, no, it ain't even really that. Something about breast cancer just changed, worked to change how I saw things and how I see things and how my own energy is affected. Like even coming from Kansas City, I'd be like, oh no, I gotta get that spirit. I love Kansas City. I love it, but you can have a spirit of comfort and mediocrity. Okay. So you have to work hard to come out of those things that spiritually that will spiritually attack you when you're trying to do something different. And with Patrick Mahomes, he was carrying so much. First of all, I think it's got a God thing in some ways, because not that God caused him to have the ACL, but that he needed to rest, and so he needed to be able to see, because he's been going so fast these last several years that it's, if finally you can see, hey, this team needs to get it together. You wait a minute, y'all need to get a blind, or y'all gonna ruin my career. Hey, y'all need to do this and that, because it's not just about them. It's about him as a quarterback and playing out his life. He can only be in control of his part of the situation, right? And that's the same thing with you. There'll be players and people around you, people who have their own agendas and stuff like that, maybe even at your workplace, your career place, but you know that you're trying to get a certain place that you feel purpose to, that God has called you to. And there may be other people with their own types of agendas that you have to end up working with, but you sometimes have to be able to see. And sometimes God will allow, not cause you, God will allow a setback. He will allow so that you can rest and look around at what is around you. Because sometimes you're picking up the load and the weight of mediocrity, of carelessness, of not being as invested as you are and everything. You picked that weight up and you carried it so far, but now you're breaking down under that weight. And the reason why is because you need a new team. You need new people around you. You need new encouragement. You need new energy. You need to be able to see that spiritual thing that is trying to come at you. And sometimes it comes into the forms of your teams and people around you, people who mean well. I said this last time. I know I'm on this kick. I'm on this kick for everybody. You have to get it. It's hard to break the comfort zone. And I think what Patrick Mahomes is probably seeing as he's laying on these beds these last few years, like, dang, well, how good has been that line? He should be. I'm hoping he's getting the energy, like, to put pressure on the people who are his partners in this thing and say, hey, you're either going to protect me, or I'm going to go looking for something. I'm going to look for something new. You're either going to help me on my journey to do what I need to do, because now he's had such a tear that it could leave his career. Check this out, y'all. He's had such a tear in his ACL. Hopefully he comes back. I mean, he's one of those guys that's very strong-willed, so I can't imagine him not coming back even better. But that particular injury could hurt how he plays. And that's because he had a team around him he had to carry for so long. And he finally broke down under the weight of carrying folks. What is this? This is a lesson for y'all. I hope y'all catching it. Stop carrying people. Stop. At a certain point, you got to stop carrying people before you break down. You got to be able to see. Patrick had a major injury in his life where now he's got to be able to look around at the organization, look at himself, even look at probably his family, look at everybody and rearrange what his goals are and how, hey, how I'm getting it. And he's always said his thing was like looking at Brady. So that's a hot. If you ever hear Tom Brady talk, if you hear people, only person I really find that has that I have seen over the years that has that Jordan-esque thing, beside Tom is Tom Brady and Michael Jordan himself, and it's a couple of other athletes. Serena at her height. Um, it is something to behold because it's like you can't tell those people they you can't stop them. So I want you guys to gather, just take a look at what you've seen in the Patrick Mahomes saga. I saw this week and I thought about my city and I thought about what the guy was saying and I thought about the energy surrounding it and everything like that. And this isn't a dog Kansas City. I love Kansas City, but I understand what the dynamics are. And every city has their dynamics, but I also understand how it'll be accepting of certain things, right? And so, but that I'm just having that to use y'all for y'all to use that as a metaphor for your life, that you can have people around you who you're carrying. You've been carrying them too much, and you're about to break down under the weight to where it could cause irreversible damage to you. Do not let that happen. Assess the situation beforehand. And if you've already let that happen, well, now is the time that you need to sit down and say, hey, wait a minute, what do I need going forward? It's a resting period to say, what do I need going forward? How do I make these changes in my life happen? How do I make this and that? I tell people all the time, I hope you never get to a place where breast cancer has to change your life. or sickness has to change your life, or this has to change your life, or um, untreated diabetes changes your life. It's I'm hoping that you never have to get to those places. And I know it's tough because the world we live in today, it is such a fast, it's speeding up. There is an energy and a spirit around that is making people, it is trying to speed you past the important things. Speed you when you come home from work. You don't know what to eat. You might eat junk. I understand. I'm there. I get it. You do this or you do that, and you're not taking care of your health as much, or you're not taking care. Are you so busy taking care of other people you lack taking care of yourself? Are you so busy seeing other people on their journey that you fail to take care of yours? I am telling you to be very attentive to what is important. Who's holding up their ends of the bargains with you? Who is help pushing you forward in your destiny and your destination? Even in love, I tell people all the time, I said, it's the little things. It really is. It really is the little things. When even in relationships, I tell people, if you when you're looking at someone, or you're looking at dating and stuff like that, or even in marriages or everything, it is the little thing. It is the small. It is when Jesus said it's the small foxes that spoil the vine. I think that was the quote. It's true. It's the little things. It's the small things that you don't see or pay attention to, and that can work towards your demise or to work towards you. And it's not paying attention to something as little as the guy you're dating's habits or little things like that. It's very important. Or the girl you're dating, or different things. Or how does that align with you? And it's so easy to sometimes your enemies are not who you think they are. Sometimes your enemies are the people closest to you who are saying yes, yes, yes to you. Oh, it's good, good, good. And sometimes your best friends, your closest people are the haters. That's gonna be hard for some of y'all. Sometimes the closest people to you are the haters, or what you consider the haters. I don't consider now haters are haters. That's a different story. But there are some people that y'all call haters today who really have constructive criticisms for you, and you don't want to listen to them because you're used to yes men and people popping off around you, making you comfortable. And you really don't want to. Sometimes it's hard to move outside the vibe of what you've been. One of the hardest things for me was one of my friends saying to me, like, one of my friends said to me, said, "You know what the problem is with you?" I said, "Damn." I mean, and it was right. And even though it made me mad, I was like, "Shit, she right." She said, "The problem is with you is that you don't have to go as for you feel." She said, "You become comfortable to a certain point." She said, "You can still be considered." Uh, and this isn't y'all me bragging on myself or anything like that. Y'all know, even though y'all know I love taking some selfies and all that, but no, it's not me bragging on myself at all. But she said she said you still, she said you can still be considered pretty plus size. She said, but she said, so it's you comfortable in that. You all right with it. You all right because you don't have to be. I was like, whoa. And she was like, it's till you understand how that affects you, your life, your health, and everything like that, is when you will start changing that stuff. She said, but you got to get out the things that make you comfortable and uncomfortable. She said, you still got, she said, and I said, dang, you right. Like she said, hey, you got to move in terms of how you think of your body, what you think of is best for yourself. You're comfortable in it because nobody's made you uncomfortable with it. And I thought, damn, it sounded like at first it kind of sounded hating, but then I was like, shit, she the fuck right. You know what I'm saying? And this friend never sugarcoats things for me. She never does. And I appreciate that about her. She never sugarcoats it. She never, like, I was having this specific thing go on that I was trying to decide whether I should trust something. And she was saying to me, and everybody else was saying, oh, well, maybe, you're right about something like that. And she was like, when I talked to her about it, I remember she said to me and said, well, that's an easy thing to look at for yourself. And I said, what is that? She said, uh, this particular friend or person I had in my life, and I was trying to contend with letting this person go as a friendship, because I kept feeling like it was turning into a situation where I was always doing things, or I was always. And she said to me, she said, on an energetic level, it seems to work because that's been your dynamic for years. So on the energetic level, she was like, you get something out of that. But she said, when you really look at it other than comfort and used to that person being there or that person doing something, how does that help your life? How is that person affecting your life? How are they changing your life? How are they contributing to your overall everyday? Like, now the dynamics have changed. You're in a different place. They're in a different place. Okay. So the dynamics with you have changed. Have they adjusted their dynamics for the new version of you? Have they adjusted? And I was like, no. Have they adjusted their dynamics to want to be a part of your life, to be, hey, to see where you are and stuff like that? And she was like, so basically, no. What do you need them for? Like, you don't need that. You don't. What? It's just taking up a lot of space. It's just one more person. And it was funny what this friend said. She said, it's just one more person you got to say happy birthday to on Facebook. But she's hardcore. But I was like, wow. But it was true. It was a little bit true, because I was like, she was like, that's a waste. If people are not, if you're contributing to someone's life and they're not energetically has a friendship or even a relationship, bringing anything to the table for you, or bringing anything like to your, like even a sense of encouragement or anything, then the dynamics have changed. And she was basically saying that it's a lot of energy to chase that friendship when you're home. Like when you get home from when you come home from Texas, and you're trying to call them up and trying to set up dates and stuff like that and everything. It's a lot. She's like, no. She said, and all that is just telling you're at a different energetic place. And it's no offense, it doesn't mean anything to her, to this person, or me. And that's it. And I say that for you guys in relationships. I was just even talking to a young lady, a friend of mine, about this the other day. And she was talking about a guy who really she liked and everything like that. And I've had these. I've talked about this, I think, on here before. But she really had to check. She really had to. She had two or three choices with the guys that she was dating or looking. And one of the guys, he was he was uh he was much more interested in who she was as a person. The other people were interested. They liked the dates and everything, but they weren't energetically interested in her. They were you know they I mean, it was one of the guys, especially the one she really liked. He was intellectualizing her, breadcrumbing her. He was not serious. Okay. And that hurt her because she really had projected so much on this person. I was like, girl, just like projected so much. And I understand when you're young and even when you're old, because I've had, what I'm saying? I had old girly. You project on people. And I was just like, hey, take a break, stay friends with everybody. I said, but that particular person, you know what it is. That particular person has showed you more than enough that they're just not interested in you in their life in that sort of way. And when she started to break it off with him, well, he was like, well, what are you doing? What's the problem and all this stuff. And she was like, well, it just seems like we're more friends and you're not interested in that and for him, he was used to always being in the energy of breadcrumbing because he could do that. He had something, he's a great looking guy, he's charming, all this stuff. But she's like, nah, I'm not interested in that. And I'm not gonna deal with that. But I, that we can be cool. But he was just very upset that energetically he couldn't come in and out of her life. But for her, that wasn't good, like to him coming in and out playing games and stuff like that. So she's building her life and she's moving forward in her career and her and things that she said, the other guy who she's friends with right now. She's becoming friends. She said she's slowed it down to becoming much more friends and trying to see if this person's for her. But she said it isn't the same, the chemistry and everything like that. But she said there is a supportive person, there is a supportive cast, there is a supportive movement, there is a caring about me. And she said that's attractive. There is a actual interest in me. An interest in where I'm going and what I do, and it's not fake. You know what I'm saying? It's an interest in me as a person, to making sure that day to day I'm okay, that making sure this and that, what and that is she said that's very important to me, and that's very she says that's something the other person could not give in the capacity I needed them to give. Right? Even though I felt that on one end we had all this great chemistry and everything like that, but they didn't want that. So even I would say that to men and women, be aware of who is on your side, friendship wise, relationship wise. Even if you have to pull back and be friends, still always be aware and be very and because that tells you where you're going to that tells you who is going to be powerful for you in your future. You know, support is huge, especially depending on what kind of, especially with your career choices and everything like that. And you can't have a person if you're moving in your career, you're very early on in your career, you don't want a person who on the other end is extracting energy from you in the terms of where you're having to wonder about them, they're breadcrumbing you, they're this and that, you're supposed to be in a relationship, but while you're trying to focus on what you're trying to do, on your purpose standpoint, they're pulling from that energy because they like to keep you guessing. They like to energetically, you know what I'm saying? Be They like to not. They like to break. That means that person is not there for. You know what I'm saying? They're not. I hope y'all understand that from the point of view. Okay, this point, you have to choose people who are aligned with you and aligned with your purpose and aligned with where you're going and who have genuine interest in you and genuine care about you and genuine uh, uh, wanting to help you towards your goals. And that's friendships, relationships, family ships. Okay. All right, y'all. So that's y'all It's a Word, and I hope y'all got it today. Okay. All right. So let's move on into uh some of this news out here, child. Okay, let me see. And shout out to Susan. Susan, thank you so much. I got I got my card, and Merry Christmas to you. Susan is a long time listener. She's been around since the Michael Jackson days. Always loved on us. A cook girl can cook everything. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and thank you for thinking of me at Christmas. I'm always my y'all. Some of y'all that been with me for years, and y'all catch the show when you can and everything like that. I appreciate y'all so much. Really, I do. It really is. I always really say this isn't a show, even a show. It's just me giving my opinions and stuff like that. But I love that we stay connected, and some of y'all, even my girl Sharon, said happy birthday to me about a few weeks ago from Barbados. So who listens to the show and stuff like that. So shout out to her too. I mean, it's just a family around. Y'all be loving on. Y'all love it. And let me tell you something about MJ fans, okay? They the truth, Ruth. They been loving. They have always been by my side since Blog Talk days. They ain't play. They do not play. Okay. I love the MJ family. Okay. So yeah. Uh, Shout out to all of y'all too. Okay. And happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas is my favorite time of year, y'all. I love the holiday season from October on. I even got one of them pop-up trees this year because I wanted to see what it looked like. Got a 7 foot tall one. It's cute. It's different. I have some complaints about it, but I like it. And so I was telling my grandparents, I said, hey, you just, because they have a big tree down there. I said, no, we just pop this up. It'll be easier this year and stuff like that. I didn't do a lot because I was so busy, but I did fix up my place for Christmas. It is like, it's beautiful. I'm a Christmas person. I love it. I'm out of control. I was thinking about going to my sister-in-law's house and doing her house, but it just depends. I'm running out of time because it's almost Christmas, and I'm like, I was supposed to go and fix up her tree just really quick for her, like when she has company and stuff like that. So I may do it. Who knows? But I love the holidays. The holidays are the bomb to me. I try my best. I dress up. Yes, I be having on Christmas. So tonight I have an event. Tonight I have an event with my a theater place and so I'm so excited for that. And it's a Christmas play going on right now at the theater. So yeah, so I love the holidays. I'm always, and I'll be festive tonight. I have my I'll be ready and festive. Okay. I love it. I am a holiday girl since I was a little girl. Okay. So, yeah. And my family, a lot of them are Scrooges. Okay. But I don't care. I'm like, hey, jingle bells. have a jolly, jolly Christmas. Play Christmas. So they're like, oh my God, here he comes. Here comes Mrs. Christmas. Oh my God, it's so crazy. Love it. And then I have two besties that we always spend we spend a night together, hang out together before Christmas. And so this year I have a fun activity for us to do. Because we always do fun activities and stuff. And so one of them is these I bought these painted Christmas trees. It's so we can all make Christmas trees. We have these and these really cute little black girl aprons to do it. It's so cute. I'm so excited about that and everything. I think they'll like it too. They think it's a Maxwell. They're like, is it we're not gonna be paying Maxwell, are we? I said, this is sad. No, you're not going to be painting Maxwell. Are we getting posters this year? I mean, are we getting T-shirts with Maxwell on it? I mean, what are we getting? I don't want to be surprised. No, you're not getting a T-shirt. I'm sorry. All my friends have asked that. No, you're not. I'm not giving anything Maxwell this year. Shocking. I didn't like the pictures. Okay, yeah, duh. No, Maxwell. But you know what? From the cruise, I think I'm gonna bring y'all something. All of them don't know. Everybody doesn't know about the cruise. Some people just some of my friends are just finding out, and they're like, they were mad because I didn't tell them. But okay, whatever. I'm still so excited. I'm like, so some people are listening to the show and say, "You're going on a cruise." One of my friends who hates Maxwell was like, "Bitch, this is too far. I'm putting my foot down." I was like, "What?" I'm putting my foot down to the Maxwell shit. Enough. I know you don't like pretty wings that fucking. You can't like. I done been to the show. You can't. I'm like, I do. I'm a big Maxwell. Then she's like, you were back in the day. You were a big Maxwell. I said, yes. She's like, okay, but this is you going on a cruise too? Yes. Really? I said, it's other artists on there. When she heard the other artists, she was okay with me. She gave me her blessing, but she was like, she said, it's too far. I'm doing too much. And she said, how the fuck did he bring back a cruise? Because years ago, we were going to go on a cruise, me and another friend. And so she knew she was thinking about going with us when he had a cruise. He had a cruise plan years ago. And I was so disappointed because the cruise got canceled. This was years ago. Okay. And so she was laughing, said, how the fuck, how the fuck did he end up bringing back a cruise? She goes, yeah, because you were so sad. She said, it's like did he energetically feel, one of my fans is sad, I'm going to bring back a fucking cruise for her. I said, I don't know. But I was really hurt by that. She's like, this shit makes no sense. I'm tired. Enjoy your cruise. I said, see, I do. I finally get to go on a Maxwell cruise. Isn't that? See, she's like, that's what I'm talking about. That's crazy. I manifested the cruise. I feel like I manifested that shit. I probably did manifest it. I'd be manifesting stuff accidentally. That's why I try not to think of bad stuff because I'm a manifestor. I can manifest stuff, even bad stuff. So I'd be like, try to stay away. Manifest. So I think I did because I was like so upset about that cruise years ago. And lo and behold, there comes a cruise back. But then I get cancer and then Sabrina Quaglio. So I don't go twice. But then the third time, which is to me the best lineup, I go. And the Chiefs are not going to the Super Bowl. The stars are aligning. I have a friend, a Maxwell friend, who's like, roommate with me. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta pay all that money. It's destiny. You know? My friend was like, I'm surprised. You usually like your own stuff, like your own, but this person is nice. So I'm excited. Yeah, I do. I told her if I win the lottery or something, yeah, I probably do, yeah, and hang out with her. But yeah, I probably would do that. But yeah, it's expensive ass cruise, okay? But yeah, so I'm excited about it, y'all. Okay. So that's that. Okay, so let's get into this news. All right, let's talk about what they're talking about out here because I got to chat. I got stuff to do today. Um, let's see. I don't know what story I want to talk about first. I mean, let's talk about Abby Phillips because y'all are so hot. Y'all got so mad about this thing with Abby Phillips. Y'all got mad about this, and it was an article on the Griot about Abby Phillips presses panelists over claim that some cultures aren't compatible with the United States. Hold on, let me look up some here. And I don't know what people was getting so mad about this. It's true, okay? And people are gonna get mad at me for um, okay, let's see. Okay. So a lot of people were upset with a lot of people were upset with this panelist about what she said. Let me see here. I'm trying to find it. What did I do with it? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get there. Okay, from the Griot. Let me see if I can share it with y'all so y'all can see. But while I contend there is racism in America and deeply embedded into the American way, it's almost a part of the bloodline. There are some things that we have to look at, even when people are coming from a certain place, that we have to take the racial stuff off sometime, in my opinion, and be able to see and understand from a different point of view. But this young lady was saying on here, this is from the Griot. It said Abby Phillips presses a panelist over claims that some cultures aren't compatible with the U.S. Right? Okay, and let me. Do y'all hold on? I gotta add it to the stage so y'all can see it. Okay. Let me see here, guys. Okay. And it says New York Post correspondent Lydia Moynihan cited examples from Europe to defend her argument that certain cultures are not compatible with the United States. Things got heated on CNN Saturday morning, Table for Five, when during what was meant to be a discussion about immigration, one panelist suggested that we acknowledge that there are certain cultures that are not compatible with the U.S. Anchor Abby Phillips confronted New York Post correspondent Lydia Moynihan after she argued that some cultures are not compatible with the United States and therefore should not be allowed in the country. Phillips repeatedly pressed Moynihan, I don't know if I'm saying her name right, to clarify what she meant, forcing a national conversation about culture, immigration, and where we draw the lines without dehumanizing people who are fleeing violence, persecution, and extreme hardship. The exchange came in wake of renewed controversy tied to President Donald Trump's inflammatory remarks about immigrants from what he called filthy, dirty, disgusting countries with high crimes, explicitly naming Somalia. When Moynihan echoed arguments circulating on the right about cultural incompatibility and suggested that certain cultural norms are fundamentally at odds with American values, Phillips didn't dodge straightforward questions, okay? Let's see if they got this up here so you guys can see this.
Need to acknowledge, I think we should absolutely select the best of the best. Mm-hmm. It should be an individual choice, but I think we can also acknowledge there are certain cultures that are not compatible with America.
Which ones?
Well, if we look at Europe, actually, there was a lawyer this week who argued that an Afghan immigrant who raped a woman shouldn't be charged or shouldn't have a penalty because his culture said that women weren't free and equal. We're seeing 77% of rapes in France are from migrants. So there is a real question that people on the right have about certain cultures.
What are the cultures?
The cultures that are okay with that. The cultures that are okay with female genital mutilation.
So, I mean, is it Afghanistan? Is it Africans? What is it? Like,
well, I would
how
say
are we gonna define
90+% of women have female genital mutilation.
How are we going to define culture? What about the people fleeing female genital mutilation? Are you going to allow them in? Are they allowed in?
I mean, if
you are Somali, and you're a woman and you're fleeing, you're actually trying to leave because
the FBI is now arresting people for bringing that with them.
If you want to leave another country, Afghanistan, because you want to be able to read, the United States says you are not allowed in because culturally you're not compatible with this country. How does that make sense?
Well, I mean, look, my grandparents came from Germany and Poland to escape the Holocaust. And before they got here, the whole USS St. Louis was turned away because Jewish culture was determined at that moment as non-compatible.
This is why vetting matters, though, and this is why but
I'm just saying, like that was not okay then, and it's not okay now.
Okay, I'm gonna say something here because Abby's not dumb. Abby's a liberal. Okay, listen, and I'm not liberal or conservative, even though I lean sometimes a little bit more conservative. Some things I lean more liberal on. Okay. Yes, you need to vet people who come into the United States. Vet all cultures, all people, all black, white, pink, purple, yellow. That young lady is right. Whether you think she being racist or not, that is very true. Some people bring into the country, like for instance, Sharia law. There are people who are trying to sue the United States, trying to get Sharia law in America. There are some Muslim like theocracies that there are some people who you have to understand this. Their religion is to infiltrate places and to bring and to make those places a thing for their thing, a thing for certain things. Now we know in the United States you're free to practice religion freely as long as it doesn't harm anyone or harm people and stuff like that. Okay. Even though the United States kind of has a tradition and a background connected to Christianity, but the church and state are separate because so there won't be any persecution. They're supposed to be separate. Okay. We know sometimes some politicians try to bring them all together and stuff like that. But in America, traditionally, you can't kill your daughter because she want to marry somebody else. And she won't go for the arranged marriage. You know, that's bullshit. Can't do that in America. You might do that in a theocracy over in Arab nations or different countries, not just Arab nations, or even some Christian countries or something like that. But violence, it's not done. But there are a lot of people who try to bring those laws here and try to bring their way of life here and then get mad when they get arrested or they get this and that for doing things that are not United States, that the United States has in the Constitution are against. Some people come here from other countries just to make money, but they don't want any parts of the United States as far as assimilating into the idea of freedom, democracy, all those things. They stay keeping theocracies or even monarchy shit. Like even if you're from Europe, if you're from Europe and you come to the United States, we don't believe in monarchies. We don't give shit about Charles. We see over there, but most United States people is like, damn a king, right? We vote in these dumb officials we got over here that show our dumbness. But we are not into kings and queens. That ended in was it after the American Revolution, war. But if you believe in a monarchy, you can't come over here and say, I think America should have a monarchy. America is totally against monarchies. America has kicked out a monarchy. That America's history is built on kicking out monarchies. Okay. If you come over here and you still believe in slavery, okay, even though America spent a lot of its energy and time, it was built from slavery. America has now done away with slavery. You can't come over and say, I want slavery back. America is against the Constitution. It's against the freedom. So America is not compatible with you or your culture. If you come over here from a culture and you believe in evil forms of your religion, and that you want to practice black magic and all kind of stuff, you want to practice putting spells and all kind of craziness on people and doing all kind of illegal things, sacrificing people and all this stuff, and you say, hey, that's my religion, you can't interfere with my religion, it's freedom of religion. No, in the United States, if you kill somebody because you sacrifice them, that's murder. And you're going to jail. You can't say, that's my religion. It was a father I saw on the ID channel the other day because his daughter was going to high school and everything, and she started taking up American ways. He was Muslim, but when he came in America, he did not try to take American ways. He kept to his old parts of his Muslim religion and trying to control her, who she married. And he got mad because she was dressing more like her and her sister were doing more like the kids at school, doing this and that. And he murdered his 2 daughters and then ran over to overseas. They had to find him because he's trying to practice that law, his religious laws in America. You can't do that. That's what she meant, Abby. You ain't fucking dumb. Quit playing. That's why I say they be trying to start stuff and trying to make it from a racial component. Okay. And besides that, no offense, just she knows what it is. I'm not, and sometimes you got to be able, yes, as American, you have to have some compatibility with now what they'll try to do is people like that and say, well, what about Black Americans, because people thought they weren't compatible. Black Americans built America. Black Americans are not the same. That's not the same thing. It's not that we are not an integrated. We are not immigrants. We were kidnapped and betrayed by Africans. We were betrayed by our African culture, and we were kidnapped by white folks and brought over to America. And we have had 500 to 600 years in America. We don't even consider ourselves Africans anymore. We no longer that. We have an African background where we don't even know nothing about. Most of us don't know too much about. We don't know what it's like to live on the continent of Africa. We don't understand that Africa is a continent. We don't understand it has different countries, different this and that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. We are very Americanized. Now, we are what we are for America is for those people. We are what I call I think Martin Luther King called the moral compass for America. This is where you don't go no more. You do not treat people as a property. That was illegal. It was illegal to your own Constitution. They had to call Black Americans 3/5 humans. They had to not even think of us as humans to get around that constitutional law. The sociopaths that was running this country at the time, they had to think of something because they know their Constitution said all men are created equal. And Black people in America had to fight. Black Americans had to fight for that. We do not have an immigrant background. We did not come here on our own fruition, and we built this shit. Matter of fact, the Statue of Liberty was given by the French, not for an immigrant symbol. It was about slavery and freedom. Look up the background, look at the history. Over the years, y'all done changed it. Okay? Black Americans are in the soil, embedded. Okay, we don't come here with other ideas. We are the idea. We patriots. We are ingrained into the system. And there may be a few nuts that will change up something here and there, that adopted something out on the outside here and there. But for the most part, we're Americans. More American probably than any group. Not no offense, okay? But what I'll say to other groups, when you come up here, you can't bring Sharia law. You can't bring laws that are not American. Will get you in trouble in America. Now, Abby, we do have things like that. We have refugees that you can come here if you're running extreme persecution. America has always been open. And yes, America can be racist. But America has always been open to that. Now, what the Bidens and stuff were doing what that administration and what the Democrats were doing was trying to replace. Listen, black people haven't got it yet. They was trying to replace y'all with immigrants because they don't like black Americans because you are the moral compass and you make the Democrats do right. They don't want to do right. They want to be just as racist and vile as the other groups, but they can't because they too dependent on you. You become a part of their thing. And so they was like, they's trying to get some new people in here to be grateful too. And you got to be like, nah, that's bullshit. Contend with us or contend with no one. But y'all keep falling for it. And then y'all keep falling for people who do not share your background speaking for you. And that's just like you got Joy Reid running around here. Joy Reid is not Black American. You have Abby's not Black American. I like them. I respect them. They're not. You cannot speak about. You can speak on my historic thing, and you can give your thoughts, but you are not a part of the group. So what you're speaking has an outside. But you let people mask themselves, play in your face. And because you don't understand globalism, because here's the thing, Black people, and I've said this constantly. I had to talk one night to one of my friends who's a big Maxwell fan. She couldn't get it. It was hard. And then it was very hard for her to get it. It probably still is. I said to her, I remember I said to her, Black America, even though we have been a global phenomenon because we are American and America is a superpower. And with the advent of television and radio and all this stuff, Black American culture was sold throughout the world. And behind that culture, the reason why we were so much behind the world, you talk to Africans, anybody, they'll tell you, we looked up to Black Americans. Black Americans, we get the Black Americans magazines, we get this and that. Black Americans, who we got our style from, who we this and that, musically, everything around the world, not just Africa, around the world. You can see our influence, okay? But meanwhile, in America, even though Black Americans are having this powerful experience, and there are some engrafted into the Black American experience who are not Black American, but they play Black American, okay? They cosplay Black American. Okay, you have them into the system, right? You have them engrafted into the system and stuff. But their experience is still not like traditional Black Americans. Black America, while they're being globalized, while their culture is being globalized, while their ideas and things like that of who we are being globalized, we are not being globalized. We are impoverished in our country. Very few of us at that time had traveled outside the United States. Very few Black, and still to this day, somewhat like that. Very few Black people knew about this and that. Whereas if you were born in New York City and you're an immigrant, you have family around probably in other countries. You probably got to travel to other countries. That is traditionally not a Black American experience, even though we were globalized. That's why I was trying to tell this person, I was saying, Maxwell does not have the same experience that you had. He may have some similarities because he grew up around Black people, or he might have seen Black people during that New York time or whatever. But his experience has a first generation Haitian is not the same, Haitian Puerto Rican is not the same as yours. He even has a more global perspective than you. It's very few of us that were raised to speak two languages. I think he speaks two or three languages, doesn't he? I think so. Because he has foreign family. His perspective is global. His perspective, he might understand or adapt to some of the Black American things because Black America is the dominant culture in the United States for Blackness. And he adopts to that because he has to sell his music and all that shit. So he knows your colloquials, he knows your terms and stuff like that, but his culture is not the same. I try to tell people, and I just used him as an example, okay? What Black people we in America, we don't see Blackness. We see because we're not globalized, we think everybody Black is having the same experience. And a lot of Black foreigners and immigrants have been able to play on that shit. They've been cosplaying. I'm not saying that's Maxwell, but I'm just saying they've been cosplaying Black people, but really not on Black people's side, really don't got the same beliefs as Black people, really don't share no kind of feeling about your stat. But you see all Black people as having your experience. They are not. Every Black person doesn't share that. Even in ADOS, we have different beliefs and different things, or FBA, we have different beliefs and stuff, but we do, for the majority part, except for a straggle few, most of us be on code a lot of times in America. We understand the thing. Okay, and then you get upset because you like, when you see Westmore not wanting reparations. Now, some Black Americans that don't want reparations, but it's a small, you get it. But it's just like it's too many of us on the Democrat side. A lot of us will vote Democrat and stuff because they was the nicest to us. And that's just something we got to just get out of. That's not smart. But I mean, because we got to just get out thinking politicians got to be nice. We don't really care. We just need to get our agendas done, no matter who you are. But the reason you're so discouraged when you see somebody like a Westmore, let me put that up with him recently. When you have somebody like Westmore, who you guys went out and voted for in droves, not understanding that the dynamics. See, even in Black America, you have to look at a person's background. You just can't take, Black Americanism, even though we have a culture and we all have a certain thing we share. You still can't just you still got to look at a person to see their beliefs and their factors, let alone when their background is from somewhere else. But Black people tend to think all Black people to be all Black. Like we thought of Barack Obama. We didn't globalize Barack Obama as we should have. Barack Obama grew up in Indonesia in his young childhood. He had a white mama and a Kenyan father. His first experience with Blackness, to me, my personal opinion, when he was young in his book, his grandparents had a friend on the island in Hawaii who's Black American, kind of gave him a lot of stuff. But also, it wasn't until he went to Chicago, he starts going to what's his name, Jeremiah Wright's church and all that, and he gets involved in community politics, because this is just obvious. If you're going to go anywhere in politics as a Black American man, unless you totally Republican or something, you have to play to Black Americans. So he went to Chicago. He became a community service person. That's where he met his wife and all this stuff. He's a Black American woman, all this stuff. But that's where he got culturally understanding of Black Americans. But he's not Black American. And y'all globalized him. Y'all just say, oh, he's like us, he Black, because he knows all the colloquial terms. He knows how to get up there and say, what's his name? Al Green. I'm so in love with you. I do all that. Do whatever. Yeah, y'all like, hey, because he knows all the things that are triggers for you culturally, and he knows you're not global. And you don't understand that he's been raised differently from you, that his grandparents were wealthy. Most Black Americans, unless you the talented, like really up there, that small percentage of Black Americans, and it's a very small percentage, did not grow up with wealth. His grandmother, I think, left him like $500,000 allegedly or something like that. She was like president of a bank. His grandfather was like owner or something. See, the very, very different experience than a Black American experience, than a Black American suburban experience, but not still wealthy, still connected to your urban family. It's very different. But because you haven't been globalizing, you don't have no relatives that you can go, in different parts of the world and stuff like that. Your perspective is not. It's the same thing with Biggie Smalls. I tell people all the time. Same thing with Biggie Smalls. Biggie Smalls cosplayed Black men that he probably saw in the streets. But culturally, That's not who they are. And so you have to ask questions. Okay, like Kamala Harris did the same thing to y'all. Join AKA Skeevy, all that whatever, all that crap. Okay. But y'all only see her as, oh, she black because she like Tupac. She black because she could quote Tupac. No, they know culturally that is what y'all like. Culturally, this I have to play the Black Americans, but I didn't grow up like that. I grew up in an Asian family. I didn't really have that much Jamaican influence either. And my family's background in Jamaica was typically wealthy. But y'all globalized her because she knew how to talk the talk, sound the sound. Bullshit. Maryland considers slavery reparations after Governor Westmore's veto is overridden. Potential reparations outlined in the bill include official statements of apology, monetary compensation, property tax rebates, and social service assistance, as well as licensing and permit fee waivers and reimbursement. Okay. Maryland will create, this is from NBC News. It said Maryland will create a commission to study potential reparations. It's always a commission. I mean, this is, y'all doing too much with these commissions. To study potential reparations for slavery after lawmakers voted Tuesday to override a veto by Governor Westmore, currently the nation's only black governor. That disappointed many fellow Democrats. He is the only black governor. He is not black. Y'all are not. See, this is what globalization does. He is a Jamaican. His background, he's first generation Jamaican. He is not Black American, but they cosplay that because they need Black American votes. So what we need people to start doing is being we need you to hear your background. You don't got to cosplay me. Even if you do know something about my culture and you love my culture, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a different thing if you are saying who you are as an ally to us, but you are not us. And that's not knocking somebody out. That's not being mean or anything. It's just culturally, we are not the same. Just because you share my color skin does not mean that you are most black, especially Generation X and beyond, it's just fairly new, a little bit of us having a globalization mindset. Most Black Americans don't have that. And you do have the top 1% of Black Americans, very small, and very, very, very small. And I've been in that group thing, and they even still somewhat still don't have an understanding globally, even though they have been traveled or something like that. Okay, just depends on what the areas they live in. I mean, how the world they see the world, you know. But most Black Americans do not have a global perspective. Okay. That is why y'all got surprised by Westmore. Westmore does not share your background. And what I know, people are gonna say, well, Jamaica, they had slavery. It was very different. That people say, well, it don't matter what port you got dropped on. I said, well, you must not know history. It does matter what port you got dropped off on. Some people, the American experience of slavery was vastly different than most groups. Chattel slavery was very different. Add in there the extreme racism, extreme psychological, physical torture that went on for over 300 and some odd years, then add another 100 years of Jim Crow and segregation, you get a very different experience. His background, he does not share the same background as me. If you're from Haiti, you do not share the same. That's your family from Haiti. I didn't come home to people talking, having accents and talking other languages. Now, unless you live in New Orleans, if you live in New Orleans, we did have relatives in New Orleans because of the French influence, not because we Haitian influence, because of the French influence on that region. And the Louisiana Purchase, if you know anything about that. Not because it's for me, it's similar to Haiti. No, it's not actually. New Orleans is not it's not similar. Maybe the French lingo. It's not similar. Okay. And maybe some parts of which is all along the South. It's not just Black America. Black America has often practiced other sometimes other things like voodoo, or even though that's a Haitian background thing or whatever. They've also we have relatives that practice black magic. If you in Mississippi, all kind of shit. Black people have always been into other shit. We from a African culture has a lot of spirituality to it. So black, that is what maybe there is a commonality a little bit in the diaspora. Okay, but for the most part, it's mostly most of the South and so Christianity and stuff like that. Okay, and then you had the Black Muslim experience, which is a whole different story. Okay, you have other religious experiences, but mostly Black America. Those are the main things. Okay, so this guy, you can't treat him. You couldn't. That's why y'all shocked. You shouldn't have been looking at him like he Black. Have you not learned anything from Barack Obama? Moore said in his veto letter in May that it was a difficult decision to veto the bill. No, it wasn't. Which was a priority of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland. But he wrote, there has been enough study of the legacy of slavery, and it was now time to focus on work itself to address it. And that's coming from somebody who is not a part of American. I don't care. He's a part. That's from Europe. His family may have had something to do with slavery over in Jamaica, but that is a whole different place. It is not the same. Pan-Africanists, quit doing that. That is not the same. And you know it if you know anything about history. It is not the same. It's chattel slavery in America, and they have to take up their reparations cause. And I'm for them to take up their reparations cause with Europe, with Britain. But America here is our thing. And he's getting in our business. Okay. So he's an outsider essentially trying to tell us what's our business. No, Wes. And here's what another thing, and this is not everybody, okay? Because there's I've met great people from the diaspora who love Black Americans, who champion Black Americans, who are allies to Black Americans, and vice versa. We are to them and stuff like that. It's not that kind of thing. But there are a lot of Black immigrants who look down on Black Americans. If y'all don't start realizing that, especially Africa, if y'all don't start realizing so y'all can see and be able to start to understand what you are dealing with as globalism starts to hit America, how you have to hold on culturally to yourself. If y'all don't start to get this, you will lose yourself. You will lose your thing. You will start Black representation in the United States has to be from a Black American perspective. You can't just put a person from Nigeria up there as the first Black woman to run this, blah, blah, blah. That is not a measuring stick of how Black Americans do in the country that has traditionally been racist, put them in segregated problems, put them in from the people who have a background of chattel slavery in America. A Nigerian does not share my experience. That is not a measuring stick that Black people are doing better. This is what they have been able, and this is not the faults of Nigerians or anybody else, but this is what a lot of people in these powers that be and white supremacists have been able to do. As a matter of fact, when a guy was talking about this, I saw him talking about this the other day. I played the clip for a few months, maybe a month or two ago, where the guy was talking about how a lot of the Ivy League schools allegedly would go get Africans and different people throughout the diaspora to fulfill Black legacy or Black affirmative action things because they didn't want to deal with Black Americans. It was much harder to deal with them. Black Americans come with different things, what they consider a chip on their shoulder, or different stuff like that. And if you guys don't understand that, who come over here from other groups and other things, and you just coming over here to take advantage of the fact that they don't like us and stuff like that, and you're not an ally. I don't consider you that at all. I consider you over here trying to get your own shit together. You want to do whatever the fuck you don't care nothing about Black America, but you will use Black America to piggyback off of it and mislead Black America. They'll mislead you into global. They'll mislead you into backing stupid stuff. So y'all better start paying attention politically, mentally. When people put the first Black person up there, I always be saying, what's your background? And that doesn't mean I dislike my brothers and sisters from different groups, but they got to understand how we understand white supremacy in America more than anybody. And we know they'll use y'all because they think y'all don't got no chip on your shoulder. They think y'all easy, y'all slower, y'all easier to do what they say, y'all easier to not fight the system, to take racism and take all that, when we don't play that. The civil rights movement in America was almost a revolution, and I say almost a revolution. That's how powerful Black Americans were. And their allies from white America and different groups were that came and allied with them. But if you ain't no ally and you over here just to cosplay me and get in position and then try to change the ideals and thoughts of Black America, that's bullshit. We fought too hard for this. That's why I always try to make y'all understand. It's different. No, that's not that does not talk about, well, we have a Black, we do have a Black a person who's VP of this and that. I said, oh, okay, that's your first Black person? Yeah. What's their background? They're African. They're from Nigeria. Okay, that does not speak to the people who have traditionally been disenfranchised in this country. Nigerians are not those people. They may have got some little fallout from coming to America on their own from just being Black because they don't understand the racial dynamics of what happens in America. But the disenfranchisement has been towards Black Americans historically. And we as Black Americans made a mistake when we did not, during the civil rights movement, when we started letting everybody in on that civil rights thing and not fight for ourselves, just ourselves. It has put us at the bottom. That's why they got y'all out here fighting DEI, of all that bullshit, and you only benefited from it 2%. White women, I never understood. I still don't to this day, and nobody has been able to answer me why Black preachers and people were out there arguing with Target and arguing with these companies for dismantling a program that didn't hardly benefit us anyway, that was benefiting white women mostly. White women even been able to get on the train of disenfranchisement. And they were partners in the disenfranchisement of Black people and the historical oppression of Black people in America. How does that happen? It makes no sense. And it's because we haven't historically learned to fight for ourselves. Until recently, to groups like ADOS, FBA, even though they don't get along, but groups like that have come along and said, hey, no, we have to delineate from other groups because we have to show that we are culturally strong and we culturally understand who we are. Y'all trying to globalize us when y'all ain't even fixed us. Y'all trying to make us lose who we are. And no other group of people, let me tell you something, Black people. Any other group of people who try to shake off you culturally, act like you're not a culture, well, watch them. Okay, any other black person, black group of people from the diaspora, it's there, a lot of black people from the diaspora are cool and get this. I talk to people from other countries that are from the diaspora, and one of my friends from the diaspora who's from Caribbean, she always tell me, she said, you don't understand, you're dealing in America with a lot of other people who come over here, they had the money and all kind of stuff. They not the true allies. She said, a lot of them are here for this and that. She's like, I hate to tell y'all this. She said, they not down with Black Americans like they should be. So a lot of people over here cosplaying you and just here for you and just cosplaying you for you financially, but they don't give a fuck about your culture. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about allying with you. They just sing your shit real good, or they act your shit real good. They act like you real good. All this stuff. Okay, so we got to be very much more aware. Westmore is a perfect example. Okay, the topic isn't easy, but again, without formal study, reparations risk being dismissed as symbolic or unconstitutional, regardless of moral merit, said Senator Charles Sender, a Democrat. After his veto was overridden, Moore said that he disagrees with the legislative decision. I'm eager to move forward in partnership on the work of repair that we all agree is urgent and pressing need. See, y'all need to vote him out of there. Y'all can't tell me there's not a Black American or somebody who shares the values of reparations that y'all can't find, even if it's a white person, even if it's a Latino, whoever, as long as they are ally with you. This person is not an ally. Just because he Black don't mean you keep voting for him. And that's our problem. We've been supporting Black people who are cosplaying and don't really got no connection to Black people. We've supported our own who've been cooning and Uncle Tommy. I ain't really say Uncle Tom, cooning and really not valuing Black life. And that's not just Democrats. I mean, that's just not Republicans. It's Democrats and Republicans. You can't have no party in this day and time. I really believe that. I really believe you can't fucking have. You might lean to one side, but you can't fucking have no party. If you fucking party loyalty, anytime I see somebody that's two-party loyalty that can't call out their party for shit, I'm like, no, you telling me where you stop. I might agree with some things on the conservative side, but I understand some of them, and I listen to Fox, I can understand there's some racist shit going on at Fox. They racist as a motherfucker. Some of that stuff they be saying, even though I think one day they one of the best news channels on TV. But I'm able to separate my emotions towards racism and hear some of that stuff because I can filter out their racism. But they also racist on CNN. It's just a different brand. They just nice. They cuddle the Black people, but they also cuddling Black people to their demise. Because they friendly doing it to you. You got to understand you surrounded sometimes by the enemy. So you got to have your own mindset and understand how to move in these times. And it's different times that we coming up in. I believe the time for action is now, and we must continue moving forward with the work of repair, Amelia Moore said in a statement. This mission is especially vital given the immediate and ongoing effects of the federal administration on our constituents, including communities that have been historically left behind. Potential reparations outlined in the bill include official statements of apology, monetary compensation, property tax rebates, social service assistance, as well as licensing and permit fee waivers and reimbursement. Reparations also include assistance with making down payment on a home, business incentive, child care, debt forgiveness, and tuition payment, and waivers for higher education. Maryland's Black population is about 30%, the highest percentage in any state outside the Deep South. Support for reparations gained momentum in the wake of murder of George Floyd by a Minneapolis police officer in 2020. However, the issue has been a difficult one, particularly for high-profile Democrats, and comes amid a broader conservative backlash over how race and inequality are handled in public institutions. Okay, the Republicans are who used to at one time was the champions of Reconstruction, failed Reconstruction, by the way, and the proclamation emancipation came from the Republican Party, but the Republican Party has started to brand itself Christians without love and empathy, and people who champion, who look like they champion racism in America. While Black Democrats have become the friendly group looking like they friendly, but what they do is they do racism low key. They get you to believe everything from them. Oh, we're gonna help you, but you still always end up the last. Because what they want you to do, they get through your radio shows. See, Democrats have too much power in the Black community. They always have. Malcolm X even used to talk about this. Please look at old Malcolm X. They have way too much power. These are people who work through your radio shows. That's why you can't even trust some of these radio hosts and stuff like that, because they being paid allegedly by the Democratic Party. It's so much power in the Democratic Party, especially when we're looking at Hollywood. Okay. It's a very different beast. Okay. So we gotta start getting wise out here, because we still in the same situations as a group, and that shouldn't be. Okay. So this is that. I'm not surprised Westmore is out here saying that. And y'all champion Westmore. Y'all did a lot. Y'all went all out for Westmore, and y'all didn't look at his background and nothing. And a lot of this stuff, when we dumb in American politics, we get mad about politics and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is, it's just because of how Americans are. We lack attention. And Black people, you in the United States, Black Americans, you gotta be the group. You cannot afford to just racially embrace everybody. Even your own people, you have to always watch out for. We know the history of slavery. We know that Harriet Tubman, the majority of slaves wanted to be free. The majority of slaves were brave, and the majority of slaves were powerful. But there was a small percentage that was afraid and would just go tell on you, would do anything for massa and to keep the system intact, because they was just afraid of being free. You still got that today. We still got that small percentage in our group. Then we got other people from around the world who look like you but don't share what's happened to you in America. Come here and play like you, and then try to speak to your culture and your stuff. You got to stop that. You can love on them and embrace them, and they can be allies for you, but you cannot. Unless you're an ally, all right. But if you ain't no ally, back the fuck up. Okay. You got to understand, take people for what they are. And really, it's just like white folks. It's something just like women. You got to treat. I don't understand. You got to treat it like you would treat a white politician coming up. Black people are always skeptical of white politicians. You should be skeptical of any politician. Nobody, even if they speak the talk, they dancing to Jay-Z or whoever else, that's when you really should be suspicious. Okay. You really should. Every politician should be treated non-friendly. To me, politicians is straight business, because they so tricky. I don't even look. Straight business. They can be friendly to me, but I'm all business with you. If you ain't doing what I said, I'm voting you out. And we have not been that community. We have been a big community that have been voting on name recognition and all kind of bullshit we've been doing over the last hundreds of years. 50, 60, 75, 100 years. We got in there, the first Black president, y'all call y'all first Black emperor, that y'all just letting run around here, entertain y'all to death. They just doing nothing but entertainment. And none of y'all looking to see, what did Barack Obama actually do to help Black people? Nada. God, yeah, Michelle's running around here doing talk shows. And I like her talk show, but damn, are you going to stay on a talk show? Because I got a feeling that's going to pivot pretty soon into politics. Like I told you, never look at Michelle Obama as friendly. She is a politician. All this is politics. She's a politician. Okay. Remember the story about the young lady who got shot in front of her son at a school in Chicago? Well, now the person is being charged. Or saying, let me see if I can. And Shade Room is doing a story on this too. Which I hear a little bit of it. Okay. Let's see. Let y'all hear a little bit of Shade Room story.
In tragedy,
We've been torn apart.
one of the women shot and killed the other outside of her baby's school. Police say she then gave her baby dad a fist bump.
I would never be trying to play family with a that got a baby on the way.
A murder that has Chicago divided. Was this self-defense?
It's been 3 months of pain and agony.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Romika Meeks Blackman had just dropped her 6-year-old son off to school in Chicago's South Loop, not knowing that her baby's father, Carlos Smith, and his new girl, Quadasia Johnson, were in the area for something unrelated. It went, though, downhill as soon as the two women laid eyes on each other.
You could hear how chaotic it was that day. Blood was everywhere. First responders racing to the scene, but by this point, it was too late. Romika Meeks Blackman was unresponsive. She was rushed to the hospital and later died.
We've been torn apart.
Her mother, Tina McMiller, in a recent news conference.
One of the leaders of our family. She was the baby, but she was the leader. The holidays are not holidays.
This is how Romika's morning started. A note that she wrote to her 6-year-old son, Carlos Jr., in his lunchbox before dropping him off at school. Quote, "Happy Monday, son. Today is a fresh start and you can start off strong. Always remain yourself."
Well, she seemed like a good mother. It's a shame they was fighting over a man, but now there's a lot of questions surrounding this situation. The woman at first wasn't charged. Now she's being charged. But let's see. Let's look at this. It says woman charged in fatal South Loop shooting of mother last September, Chicago police. A woman is charged in the fatal shooting of a mother in South Loop this past September. Quadasia Johnson, 31, of Des Plaines, faces one felony count of first-degree murder. Oh, they got her first degree. Probably a change of second degree. According to police, Johnson was arrested Wednesday in the 9200 block of West Senate Drive in Des Plaines after being identified as the offender who shot and killed 31-year-old Romika Meeks Blackman. The fatal shooting happened the morning of September 8th on 2200 block of South State Street. Meeks Blackman had just dropped off her son at a school near Cermak Road and State Street when police said the victim was involved in a physical altercation with Johnson. The offender then took out a gun and fired it, striking Meeks Blackman in the face. Wow, that is telling. Sources tell WGN News that women knew each other initially after shooting. Johnson was arrested, but she released without charges. Meeks Blackman was in school to become a nurse. Her mother says she was an outstanding mother-daughter friend. Johnson is scheduled to appear at court again December 24th. Okay, let's see if we can find some more on this story, okay, because it's a lot behind it, and I'll talk on it in a minute, y'all. Just a second. Okay. Okay, now they do have a story here on YouTube. Let's hear a little bit to see what this is about. Okay, that's not having a show on that. Let's see. So they're saying there's still questions, but there is okay, let's see if we can hear this from Chicago News. Okay, here we go. Let's see. See if we can get this up here. This other story about it. Okay. We'll get this. Okay. Yes, I will have to agree with this. Now, I hope y'all heard. Okay, did y'all hear that? Uh, Wait a minute, y'all didn't hear? God, I thought I had it added to the state. I hate when that happens. Okay, let me see y'all, so y'all can hear this again. I don't know if I had this added where y'all could hear it or not, but
Newsroom, Sade Gray, standing room only. Family.
I'm gonna start from the
3
middle.
months. It's been painful. It's been terror. I mean, we've been torn apart.
Her daughter, 31-year-old Ramika Meeks Blackman, was shot and killed after prosecutors say an argument escalated with 31-year-old Khadijah Johnson on September 8th. Just months later, Johnson, who was 7 weeks pregnant, was arrested and charged with her murder.
I just want justice. I don't want to fight with nobody. I don't want to argue with nobody. I just want justice for my daughter. And I want peace in my family.
In court today, the assistant state's attorney says Blackman dropped off her 6-year-old son at school near Cermak and State. The baby's father, identified in court documents as witness 1, had just parked nearby with Johnson and their 6-month-old child in the vehicle. There was a verbal argument between the women. The baby's father tried to break it up, but then, according to prosecutors, became physical with Blackman, putting her in a chokehold. The assistant state's attorney says Johnson then walked back to her car, got her gun, and shot Blackman multiple times, then fist bumped the baby's father.
It won't bring her back, but it will be a little piece now. It feel like a big bundle just been lifted off my head and my heart.
We should note that last year, Johnson, the suspect, filed a stalking no-contact order against the victim. The order of protection was granted in July, but was never served. Johnson does have her FOID card and concealed carry license. She claims self-defense, but the judge says celebrating in the streets after shooting someone is not self-defense. Reporting in the newsroom,
Okay.
Sade Gray, CBS News, Chicago.
And I don't know if y'all heard that.
The judge says
heard the whole thing the first time, but I just played it again in case y'all didn't hear it. Okay, I agree. If you fist bump that man after you shot that woman, shooting someone and killing someone is devastating. And it's a fellow mother like you, and all you do is fist bump the baby daddy, y'all baby daddy. And then after she allegedly put you in the chokehold and allegedly whoop your ass, you went back. You didn't do in the midst of the fight. You didn't take out a gun. That's self-defense. But when she let you go and you walked back to your car and you got a weapon out and you shot her, that's touchy. And you shot her several times because you got your ass. You supposed to have a gun on you, so you won't. Before she even tell you, hey, do not come near me. Don't touch me. Or in the midst of the fight, you could have shot her. But going back to your car and getting a gun after it had de-escalated and then coming back and shooting that woman, now you're going to get some time, sweetheart. Now, I don't know if you're going to be, they charge you with first degree. They probably going to plea you to a second degree. I'd take the second degree if I was you. And here's the thing, girls. Listen, I don't know if Shamika ran out there. Shamika is sad if she did. She lost her life for it. Ran up there, that girl fighting because they happened to see each other and then they had a confrontation. It is never worth it over no man who's gonna be free. This man is gonna be out here with other women if he ain't right now as soon as possible. Y'all crazy shooting people over other. They said like that chick that traveled. It's a chick that traveled. She was mad at a girl for going with her boyfriend, and her and her boyfriend going. It's her. The other girl think it's her boyfriend. She mad. She gets on a plane, travels. Now, you sitting on the plane, so you think your mind would calm down. Like, damn, this is stupid. I don't need to be fighting this girl. Shit, who I need to be mad at is his ass. I don't need to be, and you really don't need to be mad at his, because I ain't going to jail for nobody. But if I'm going to be mad, I'm going to be mad at him. But she travels on a plane, gets out the plane, takes a bath allegedly, all this stuff, and then goes out at 4 a.m. to this girl's place. Talking about the girl told her come in. The girl shouldn't have let her in the house. Ain't nobody knocking on my door at 4 in the fucking morning. I ain't letting you in. I ain't letting you nowhere. I ain't even answer the door. Okay? But ends up killing this girl over a man. And now she ain't got the man either. You ain't got him. You about to go to jail. He gonna be out here with another female. What you gonna do? He gonna be out here with another. While you serving life. She got life. Gave up her life. Is it that good? I mean, what kind of penis is that makes you want to go travel on a plane for 2 to 3 hours? Get off the plane. I mean, it's crazy. Y'all crazy. I don't get it. Wait a minute, y'all. Trying to get something here. Hold on just a second. Yeah, it just makes no sense, ladies. Y'all got to be smarter than that. We got to be smarter. We got to think differently, okay? This is crazy. You can't be out here. Listen, life goes on. Let people go. Let people free. You don't own people. And it's crazy. It's just crazy to do this kind of thing, okay? This man's going to be out here free to date while she's spending lots of money she's going to spend lots of time and lots of money to get out of this situation. Not good. Okay. Not good at all. Okay. Just not good. Have some wisdom. It's never worth your time. Okay. Now, I did see these retailers talking about that it cost you more to return gifts from these stores this holiday season. Okay. They talking about that a lot of stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls and all these people will be charging you a fee. It says holiday shop. This is from Tango. .com, your tango.com. It says holiday shopping is already stressful enough, especially as we get closer to Christmas. However, some companies are truly going out of their way to make shopping this holiday even more of a nightmare than it has to be. Shoppers have noticed that returns are not as easy as they used to be, and companies like J. Crew, TJ Maxx are charging people just to return items they bought this month. Considering the fact that the cost of gifts is already too much for some people, it's even worse that companies are attempting to squeeze as much as they can from shoppers this holiday season. Companies are charging more for returns this holiday season, and people are livid. In a post to Instagram threads, a man shared a photo that was taken from a news broadcast showing how companies like J. Crew, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Macy's, and JCPenney's are charging shoppers to return gifts bought during the holiday season. Even companies like Amazon, Walmart, Target, and Best Buy are offering shoppers holiday return deals. Okay, people are being charged anywhere between $7.50 and $12 just to make a return, and people were understandably enraged by this. Many argue that the idea of return fees, especially during this time of year, is just an unnecessary punishment for shoppers who can't help if they buy something that isn't right size or poor quality. Others question why these companies, which are definitely making money hand over fist, feel they have the right to squeeze shoppers even more during the season when everyone is spending more than usual. The return prices are to be deducted from the total refund. Okay. The National Retail Federation explained that nearly 3/4 of all stores now charge some sort of return fee. That is bad. That is not consumer friendly. That is not customer service friendly. And the reason these stores are able to do that is because you allow them to. You have become so, consumers have been so in life has gotten so crazy for y'all that y'all even will continue to shop with these retailers. You should punish these retailers when they do that. We will not shop with you. Not going to shop with you when you do that. You better have some customer service. But because we don't have any sense, we just continue to shop with people when they don't do good customer service. Because you just like, oh, I don't have time. Blah, blah, blah. It's cheaper here. No, damn that. It said there are other stores like Macy's that offer loyalty programs where shoppers can sign up to avoid fees altogether, or shoppers can make a long trek to a nearby store and return in person. Now, check that out. And usually those membership things are like that. Loyalty programs maybe cost sometimes, okay? This is bad. I think this is bad. I think this is showing the way of the world, the way that we as consumers are ignoring our rights as consumers, and we are giving our hard-earned money up to people who don't value customer service, who don't value us shopping with them. All kinds of companies that have become more greedy and everything. This is a reflection really more so on us, because we are not fighting these companies and punishing these companies for doing so. We have become a less consumer-based world, because basically politically we have ignored our own individual consumer rights, and what we've allowed politicians and these retailers and politicians and these companies to get together and have their way, but we are not punishing them as consumers. And that's why consumers have lost a lot of their rights over the years. Okay, sad. And it really only reflects back on Americans itself. Okay, I can't blame the companies for being greedy. That's what they do. I can't blame you. Are the checkmate in this country. You are the checkmate. You are the checkmate. In the 1960s, 70s, consumerism was a little bit better because people paid attention. Now they've made your lives so crazy that they know you're not going to pay attention. They know you're so caught up in everything that you're going to allow the politics of retail companies, corporations, and things like that to be ahead of you instead of the consumers. That was not always the case in the United States, especially when the United States was a more politically, people were more paid attention politically, and wasn't consumer driven, or has, in my personal mind, has a party driven. Okay, personal opinion. All right. Yeah, Melania Trump has a thing coming to theaters pretty soon. I'm interested to see it. It's interesting. She's talking about her being first lady and this second run and everything. This is what I thought the Obamas should have done when they were in the White House, even with their children. I feel like the Obamas missed an opportunity. I feel like they should have even had their children do a little thing for kids about the White House. It would have been great to see how those kids reacted to the White House during that time, and their father being the first person of color as president, and what that means, and them being the first Black Americans, half Black Americans, into the White House as a family. They were too busy trying to be like whatever they thought they was trying to be. I don't know. And sometimes, a lot of times, Black people, our biggest thing is that we try to people please. We be like, oh, I don't want them to think we trying to be this and that. And it didn't matter. They're going to criticize you no matter what. But the Obamas failed a lot of things because they were scared of the criticism of being the first Black anything. So sometimes they failed we're trying to keep our kids private. We're trying to keep this and that. You should have gave them kids something to do. Okay, you should, meaning that they should have been working. This was the White. It would have been great to have they would have had something on PBS or something for kids about the White House, and you would have had them there talking. To me, when y'all was hiding them, I was like, are they well behaved or what's going on here? But they should have been doing that, because that was an experience. Instead of seeing celebrities in the fucking White House all week, year, we love to see the history behind it, and how did Michelle respond to living in the White House. Made me think they was hiding a lot of stuff, okay? Because they missed the opportunity. I don't think, even though I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna like Melania, but the whole thing is, I do appreciate that she's doing a little historic thing, because she is a foreign first lady. So it is very interesting. She's from an immigrant first lady. So it would be very interesting to hear her take on being first lady in the White House. Okay. The Obama should have shared that same thing, in my opinion. They missed the opportunity, and I'm pissed still about it. I used to say that when they was there. So it's going to be interesting that Melania is going to get to do that. Okay. Y'all talking about Trey Songz out in these streets still acting a fool, allegedly. So I'm gonna let y'all hear this talking on Trey Songz.
Why does it take so many people for y'all to
From Hollywood Unlocked?
Why do y'all hate women so bad that everybody got to be lying on this man? Nobody is lying on this man. If anything, more people are too afraid to come forward about this man. If you have ever seen a movie where somebody is taken over by a demon, that is a good example of who that man is. And that's light. That is very light. And like I said on my podcast, all I'm doing is waiting for the Netflix documentary. It's coming. It's coming soon. But it should have been happened. This man should not even be able to be out and about on the streets, running around, roaming around, like, at all. How is this man still free? How is it that every time I see this man out, it's still a group of professional homeboys dapping him up? What happened to protecting women? What happened to believing women? Like, what happened to street justice? No. Just dapping people up in the club like a bunch of goofies. I see it all the time. Every time I see the man, he's surrounded by goofies. This whole Trey Songz situation.
And it don't be just goofy men, it be goofy females too. Listen, okay, let me explain something to y'all. And I've explained this plenty of times, and people think I've been on men's side and all that stuff. No, I just see the fairness of everything. First of all, Trey Songz, I've heard a lot of horrible things about Trey Songz. Hey, if he has a right to, if he's done something horrible, he has a right to a fair trial. People just don't believe people in the United States. And you wouldn't want that to happen to you, young lady. It's Winter. Her name is Winter, speaks on allegations against Trey Songz. Nobody is lying on this man. Yes, but he has a right to a fair trial. It's like if somebody come up to you and all of a sudden lie on you, you want a right to a fair and balanced, a fair trial. Even though in America, Black men sometimes do not get fair trials. Okay, you want a fair trial regardless. It ain't just believe women. It's only believe when the allegations are given to cops. I do believe they should believe so they can go investigate, right? But when they find out that there's not enough evidence or something like that, then they may have to drop a case and stuff. It's just not, they can't just, but our justice system, when it comes to our justice system, it is and you should be glad, even though Black people, it doesn't work like that in this country but the justice system itself, it is, you are innocent until proven guilty. And sometimes you're not proven guilty, but you're guilty. If you're Black in America. Okay. But it is innocent until proven guilty. It is on the burden of the prosecution to bring proof. Okay. And so that's the first thing I want to get. This is not a woman versus men thing or anything like that. It's just what it is. Okay. Now, in the area of show business, we talk about dudes like Trey Songz. Women are everywhere. Women come after these guys. Don't act like you motherfuckers don't be out there after them. That you do. Okay? Even when they have bad reputations. If R. Kelly got out of jail tonight, I guarantee you, if he was playing a concert somewhere afterwards, it's gonna be all women of different ages, even some women of a younger age trying to lie their way to R. Kelly. Okay, listen here, because of what they perceive to be a lifestyle they're attracted to. And that's not me trying to diss women. So when you have that kind of smoke on you, when you got that kind of, I always said, when I did a thing about R. Kelly years ago, I said he was both the predator and the prey. People got mad at me. I said he was the predator in terms of going after young kids and everything, but he was the prey because a lot of people went after him. They knew what his weaknesses was, all that stuff, and a lot of people played games. It's the same thing with a lot of these celebrity men. And I always say that women, you have to be vetted even more with celebrity males. And the reason why I say this is because celebrity males have, a lot of times, they typically tend to be womanizers. Not all of them, but a lot of them, okay? Especially in the areas of R&B and rock and roll and shit like that, okay? They tend to have a lot of women, a huge roster. Ain't nothing wrong with having a lot of women. That's your business, okay? And a roster and shit like that, okay? And because they have so many women, and so many women are attracted to these men and like these men and everything, they also attract women who get mad at them when they are not loyal, when they are not faithful, when they don't want to do this, when they have sex with them and dump them, and they do things and they disrespectful towards them. There are some women, not all women, who will come back and lie on these men. And the fame will drop. So that's why I always say to people, if people get mad at me about this, I say, Trey Songz is different from Jimmy down the street. Okay? If a lot of women are typically saying, hey, Jimmy down the street been raping women. If 9 out of 10 women are saying that, it's probably more than likely because they ain't got no reason to lie. They don't get no benefits from lying on Jimmy down the street. Ain't no benefits of lying. It's easy to vet and see. Jimmy, ain't no reason for these women to lie on you. We didn't have 15 women come to us and tell us you raped them. With celebrity men, there is incentive to lie. I don't know why that's so hard to understand. So you have to vet a little harder. You get to be on talk shows, you get to be out on podcasts, you get to get a semi piece of fame and everything. So it's an incentive for women to sometimes come on those shows and lie on celebrity men. It could be 20 women lying on Trey Songz. Possibly not. I mean, I say look at it when there's allegations. You can't not look at it. But you also have to understand he is a male celebrity, and with that he draws a lot of things because of his lifestyle. If he's not treating women right and stuff like that, y'all, we know how women are. Not all women, but a lot. There are some who will get mad, who will say he raped me, he this and that. That's why I always tell women, when you're dealing with celebrity men, and if a celebrity man has done anything to you like rape or anything like that, that is beatings or something like that, immediately tell the police. Immediately. You cannot, because of his fame, You can't afford to hide it. You can't afford to do that with a regular dude. In my personal opinion, you can't show up 20 years later talking about, well, he raped me back in 1922. Man, we don't got no proof. We can't investigate that. That's very hard. And when they are investigating these cases, a lot of these cases to me have been they've been able to get away with a lot of setting precedents and kind of going against laws to me, in my personal opinion. It is hard to prove rapes from 20 years ago unless you got some videotape or some eyewitnesses or something like that. That's just hard. Okay, so you have to, ladies, you have to come forth immediately. It is not your fault. You have to come forth immediately. Can't be out here spreading rumors about Trey Songz. You got to come to go to the fucking police department. Ain't nobody scared of Trey Songz. What the fuck? Who the fuck scared of Trey Songz? Trey Songz ain't had a fucking hit on the radio in damn near 15 years. The fuck? What the fuck y'all talking about? This people scared to come on. Who the fuck? This is not Diddy. And I don't believe people scared of Diddy. If you heard the courtroom about Diddy, wasn't nobody scared of Diddy. Everybody acting like they scared of Diddy. Even Cassie getting her ass wasn't scared of Diddy. She's had side pieces and everything. Burning her phone for her side man shit. So, not saying that it's okay the abuse, but I'm saying she wasn't, I don't think she was scared. Because you wouldn't have had no side. And you scared of somebody, you like, this man crazy. I don't want no side piece. Nah, this chick was trying him at every corner. A lot of them people was with Diddy. Didn't nobody give a fuck about Diddy. Okay, nobody give a fuck about Trey. You can't say women are scared to come forth because Trey Songz got some sort of power. What kind of power Trey Songz got? Trey Songz ain't had no hit out here in a long time. I ain't heard Trey Songz. It's Trey. Now Keke Palmer tried to tell y'all something about Trey Songz, but then they didn't push that. Okay. But if you ladies have something that this man has done something to y'all, then come. A lot of times, though, you will find in some of these cases, even in the Bill Cosby cases, because most of the time people out here talking about Bill Cosby and did not read all individual 50 cases. I read every last one of those cases. Some of them was women pissed, all kind of stuff. It was, and some women was coming back to hang out and all that. It's just, when you come back to hang out with your rapist, at that point, I don't pay no attention. When you take money for rape, I pay no attention. I call them whole transactions. I have no empathy at that point, because that you have let a rapist go, and for money. Well, Carlotta, they got to get their money. There's no other way. No. If you bold enough to come forth for a check, then that means you just care about money. You didn't care that this man could be possibly raping other women, could possibly victimize other people. You don't give a fuck. You just show up for a check. So you a hoe. That's what I say. And I'm sorry. I don't have no empathy when I say it. I don't have no. Now, if you make sure he get his ass in jail, you make sure he's prosecuted, or at least try, because sometimes we don't always, even women who are raped sometimes don't always win rape cases and stuff like that. But I respect when a woman goes through, like if you ever heard the story even of Tupac, what happened with Tupac, that woman went straight to security. She's almost believable to me, because what she did, she followed all the rules and people still didn't believe her. But she still did. The reason why Tupac went to jail is because she went through everything scenario. She didn't go to a lawyer and say, how much can I get from Tupac? Because he tried to rape me the other day. No, she went to the police. Same thing with Mike Tyson. What happened when Mike Tyson allegedly raped that girl? Whatever happened years ago. Desiree ain't been seen, ain't came out here since. She made sure he was prosecuted. She went right to the police. Okay, I tend to typically believe those cases more because the women did the right thing. I understand rape is devastating. I understand all these things, but in order to be believed in order to put this person behind the boards, no matter how embarrassing, I know, no matter what you think it is, you got to put this criminal behind the door. Go to the police. If Trey Songz is out here messing with brown people, go to police. The more y'all go to police, the more they'll investigate his ass. Okay. Now, some of y'all be faking. What they find is a lot of y'all be disgruntled employees, disgruntled girlfriends, and shit like that. We can't have, the police know how to investigate that. They know how to know if you disgruntled. Okay. A lot of people be disgruntled and mad because Trey done dumped him. He wasn't nice about it. He maybe had a one night stand and then kicked your ass out the room and shit like that. Some of these rock stars are mean. I heard one story about a girl having to sign an NDA agreement when she walked into the Oh my God, when I heard this shit, I was like, what? Listen. I heard this one story. I said, these motherfuckers, I said, I could listen, so unromantic, talking about, I don't know how girls go through with it. And how talk about coochie cat drying up. My coochie cat would be like, huh? I mean, yeah, the dude was like, yeah, we need your, the bodyguard was like, I need your phone. Oh, wait. Before we proceed to this event, here's an NDA. What? Excuse me? Like, you're in the middle of getting it in. You're like, oh, yeah, it's about to go down. And then he's like, hold up. Bodyguard is like, phone, please. Bodyguard, excuse me, John, could you come into the room? Yeah, get her phone. Okay. John, get her phone. Oh, and please bring the NDA in the room. Fuck. And maybe this could have saved a lot of these men too, because, you know, consents and NDAs, I understand why they do them, because they hoeing too much. You know what I'm saying? They ain't really building up relationships of trust. These are hoe relationships. And so when you hoe relationship, that's what happens. When you having one night stands and you ain't building no trust, when you just over across seas fucking everybody and doing everything, you gotta have NDAs and stuff like that. And these men still will get accused of stuff because people will get mad at them. And then sometimes these men are monsters. They are horrible. They are rapists. They are this. They are that. They are this and that. Okay. A lot of the stuff in the Diddy trial, I listened to it. A lot of the people, y'all, they weren't believable. You should have heard the stories. Okay. That's why that a lot of people lost that case. A lot of people were disgruntled employees. They would often come back to work for Diddy. A girl claimed Diddy raped her, but yet she was still hanging out with Diddy, still sending Diddy birthday cards, still like Diddy putting her scrapbook on with Diddy and all this. It was just bullshit. It didn't sound like, you're like, girl, shit, get your ass out of here. If you raped by somebody, you gonna be pissed. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You ain't hanging out. You ain't sending them no happy birthdays. And if you are, you're mentally disturbed, and it's going to cost you your case against him, or it's going to cost you something. Okay. You can't be friends with a rapist. That only happens on General Hospital. What's in the Luke and Laura era? You can't. That was TV bullshit. Nobody's friends with nobody's rape, unless you are. What's them women who are kidnapped and held for so long, and that I forget what they call it. When you just when you get I forget what they call it, some sort of syndrome, but you have to have been kidnapped at gunpoint and all that stuff and been under a kidnapper so long. Not some of you bitches that's just been hanging out and going to his house and been able to go home at night and been able to go back to your friend, going back and forth, and y'all done had friends. They talking about people, real kidnap victims. Unless you have been a real kidnap. Other than that, you know, you can't have that syndrome where it makes you to your accusers. Because some of y'all try to say that about Cassie. I was like, bullshit. Cassie was able to go home. Matter of fact, alleged in the trial, she gave her mama, she put in the paperwork pictures of him beating her ass, pictures of her black eyes and stuff, but didn't give them to the police. Shit, I would have took that shit right to the police. She didn't take him to the police. She took it to her mama for safekeeping. Why was she doing that? Okay. People play games even with abuse. There are women out here who will use abuse to blackmail. I ain't saying that's what she did, but it sure sounds suspicious. Okay, let me tell y'all. Okay, don't play. I'm just trying to tell y'all, we dealing with all kind of crooked people. Just because you've been abused, don't mean you don't have abusive elements to you. Like you not something terrible either. Okay, I see women on For My Man every day on the For My Man show who were abused by a lot of men. But they were just as evil as the men they were abused by. These women committed murders for these dudes who was kicking their butt. And then when they get caught, they say, well, he was abusing me. They like, the police like, when you committed that murder, did you call us and let us know that you were scared? No. Was you free of him a couple of days? He wasn't. He went somewhere, and then you could have called the police at that time. We booking you too. Okay, so it's all kind of. That's why I try to tell people it's all kind of scenarios that people get mad. It's not that I'm not for women. I am totally for women because I understand the powerful, beautiful beings we are. But because of that, I'm very about us trying to accept accountability and keep, because there are real rapes and real things going on. There are real monsters out here. Not playing with people, not playing with these, because y'all pissed at celebrity men and y'all come up with some bullshit. Y'all know who these motherfuckers are. Y'all, I'm telling you, with celebrity men, you got to be careful. Wish I could tell y'all even. As a young girl, I've told some celebrity male stories on here when I was young and used to try to go meet celebrities. Okay, some of them were scary. Okay, you have to be careful. And then listen, if y'all having a hoe experience, you know he gonna treat you like a hoe. If he on the phone and with his bodyguard saying, "Excuse me, John, could you bring in could you come in and take her phone?" Oh yes, and bring the paperwork. That's a hoe experience. Okay, he's not. You can't be mad when he dumps you, or he asked you in the morning. He asked you a couple of hours after y'all done did. Yeah, I'll have the car come and take you to your hotel. What's your oh, and here's a gift basket. It's got an autographed picture in there, t-shirt. Uh-oh. Hold on just a second, y'all. Okay, you guys. Sorry I had you waiting so long. Listen, I had a little emergency with my decorations. The wind is really high in Texas, so I have these little bulbs that hang off the ceiling thing, and so I had to go get them because I heard them swinging. I was like, oh, let me go get them before they swing out. So I am sorry, y'all. But going back to what I was saying, yes, be very careful with dating these celebrity males. Understand what it is when you're going in those rooms or you're dealing with them and stuff like that. Uh, if they put an NDA out on y'all and stuff like that, they ain't serious. Okay, get to know somebody, child. That's all I can say. And as far as Trey Songz, yes, he does. If it's too much stuff out there about him, yes, he has to be investigated. But understand that with male celebrities, that in my opinion, investigations have to go very hard because they have to vet more because they're dealing with fame, the element of fame, and the element of fame will cause people to lie on you that don't even know you, that haven't even met you, or people who have met you to lie on you and really, you know, it be not a real thing, okay? It be people angry at you. And then sometimes it's very real things. Sometimes these people are monsters, okay? So that's what I will say on that note. What else here we gotta look at? Y'all. So I think we're winding down, y'all. Okay, and Kimora comes at Russell. Kimora Lee talked about, told Russell this week to answer his accusers and all this stuff. Listen, I still say the same thing. I say the same thing regarding Russell Kimora relationship with Russell. I say what I said. Kimora got helped a lot through about Russell. That doesn't mean Russell wasn't a bad husband. It doesn't mean Russell wasn't a good person. I don't know, but I know that a lot of her career and stuff has come from Russell. That's all I'll say on that note. Okay. All right, and then okay. So I guess here's the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna try to have another show, you guys, before the week is out to discuss some more hot topics and things like that. But meanwhile, you guys, I'm going to make this the last story because, child, y'all, I got to go out there. I got to make sure my stuff is down. Okay. So make this the last story for today. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. If I don't talk to you before Christmas, I know y'all will. Have fun, relax with friends, family, enjoy your holiday. And I'll try to see y'all talk to y'all before the new year. Pray for safe travels for me and my family, that we have a good holiday and everything. And you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Remember, you can hit me up at the Carlotta Chatwood Facebook page. You can also hit me up on Carly's_Galaxy on Instagram. That's with an S. Okay. You can also hit me up on Twitter, C Chatwood Show, and Carlotta72. And then there's TikTok, Keisha Carlotta, and then Threads. You know, you guys can hit the link on Instagram. Okay. Take you to Threads. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. I will see y'all. Okay. So let me leave y'all with some, what kind of music I'm gonna leave? I ain't gonna think it. Let me see what I can leave y'all out with. They should have some, wait a minute, they should have some Christmas music, Christmas jingles. I should have put some Christmas songs in here for y'all. Dang it, I forgot to do that, to add a little Christmas. I'll do that next show. I'll add some Christmas things. We won't, okay, so here's what we'll do. We'll go live next time. We won't do YouTube. YouTube people, I'm sorry. I'll try to edit it for you, but we'll do some Christmas music and stuff like that, okay? So we'll do that for next time. All right, you guys, I'm out. Have a good one. See ya.